What do marketers really need from writers? And what can you do to make them happy so they keep sending high-paying gigs your way? Stay tuned because you're about to find out. We're sitting down with 4 busy marketers who hire writers all the time. We're going to ask them everything you need to know to get on their good side, get hired, and keep those paychecks coming. Enjoy.
Okay, well, I'm going to say welcome to everyone. I'm here with Pam Foster. Hey, Pam.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome. And if you're joining us now, I just want to be sure. Can you see me, Pam?
Yep. I can.
Okay, so my screen is working funky just simply because I got to share screen. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So I just want to say, if you're here to meet the marketers who need freelance writers now, you are in the right place with Pam and I. As Ben mentioned when we started, if you have questions, go ahead and type them up. We'll be asking questions later on in our Q&A. But first, I want to tell you what we're going to go over today. So the goals for today are to meet our marketers. These are 4 marketers that have never been in the AWAI universe, so we're really excited to meet them. We're going to learn a little bit about their businesses, discover what they look for in writers, and then go over where you can find more opportunities like this. So first, let's meet our marketers. First up, we have Jamie Garvin. Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Great. Nice to be with you all today. Thanks for including me.
Yep. Now, just to tell you a little bit about Jamie. Jamie is a senior marketing executive and strategist with client and agency experience in a variety of consumer business categories. He's experienced at developing integrated strategies and programs that drive brand awareness, deliver business results, and enhance customer engagement. He's also a skilled relationship manager and collaborative leader with a track record in identifying and developing top talent and leading high-functioning teams. So welcome, Jamie. We're glad to have you, like I said. Jamie is with Magnitude Consulting. Notice the spelling of that. That is the correct spelling of that name. Jamie, why don't you tell us just a brief overview of your business and the clients that it serves?
Thank you. I'm happy to do so. And good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from. So Magnitude Consulting is a B2B marketing agency. We are completely virtual. There used to be a head office in the greater Boston area, but we've gone to a fully virtual and remote model. And we serve clients in the technology space, most specifically in cybersecurity, managed IT services, and adjacent industries. We've sort of developed a very specific and narrow niche for ourselves in this space, but the way I like to describe it is the swim lane may be narrow, but the pool is very long, and we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us. We serve our clients in a variety of different models, three primary operating models. Most of the clients we work with are early stage or growth stage companies. So they might not have any marketing talent within their own organizations, or if they do, it might be a very slim roster of marketing talent. So we can do one of 3 different things. We sometimes and most frequently serve as a fractional marketing department for those companies. So we basically serve as their completely outsourced marketing team. Our marketing account managers basically are their de facto directors of marketing for many of these businesses. There are other clients that we do targeted work for. We might be doing content development, copywriting, SEO work, other web development, things like that. So very targeted and specific work that's on an ongoing basis, but maybe it's just something where we're filling a gap where they don't have a particular skill set or resource in-house for. And then the last model is very targeted engagements, project-based, that are, maybe we're doing just a website update or some sort of marketing assessment or market analysis or something like that, where it's an in and out, and that's the nature of the work, and we move on, and there isn't an ongoing relationship. So we're full service in what we do. We work across all disciplines and all media, and we rely heavily on copywriting and content development as a key component and foundational component to almost every program that we do. And most of that work is focused on demand gen and lead gen in the space. So,
okay, great. That was perfect. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Okay, Kaloni Moses. Hi, Kaloni. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Got the old mute button going. I always fiddle with that myself. So Kaloni has, first off, she is the founder and CMO of Brainstorm Agency. She has 17 years experience in digital marketing, and she's built noteworthy international brands and multi-channel, multi-million dollar brands that have delivered revenue growth up to 400% and audience growth up to 1,000%. That's a lot of growth. She's a dynamic leader of cross-functional teams and has built top-performing international marketing teams in 5 countries. Now, Brainstorm is a personal brand agency. It helps founders, CEOs, and consultants and thought leaders build, grow, and market their personal brands online. She also brought the LinkedIn local movement to the Salt Lake City area, and she's worked with the U.S. federal government and received national recognition as a recipient of the U.S. Senate Award of Excellence and the Bank of America Social Achievement Award. She's also been featured all over in the press, and we welcome you here, Kaloni. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company and the type of clients that you serve?
Sure. Yeah. So I have a couple different companies. One of them is the Brainstorm Agency. And so essentially what we do is we build brands online, but we also grow them. So we market them online organically. And we work with thought leaders, coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, CEOs, essentially those individuals who recognize that building their own personal brand alongside the company brand is also important. So I also am a partner and on-air talent for a real estate syndication company that's launching this month. And and so I have that. I host different sorts of events. The LinkedIn local event I used to host. I host a lot of other events too. I'm interviewed quite frequently. I speak. I kind of just do all the things to help, especially when it comes to, say, entrepreneurs when they are building their businesses online.
Great. Well, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. And I'm going to move on to the next marketer. So let's welcome Nathan Sola. Hi, Nathan. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So Nathan is the founder and chief strategist of WorldLight Media, LLC. He's a digital marketing expert who specializes in strategic branding. His veteran career in the high-tech industry dates all the way back to the mid-90s. He loves using his creativity and skills to help businesses grow. Nathan is passionate about people, technology, and design. Strategic and creative thinking are his dominant strengths, serving him well in his role as Chief Strategy Officer of WorldLight Media. It's a boutique web marketing and branding agency he founded in 2005. Welcome, Nathan.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yep. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your company and the kind of clients that you service?
Sure. So yeah, as you mentioned, we are a boutique digital marketing agency. So that means we are small. We have only about 6 full-time people on staff, and then we have a handful of copywriters. Most of them are, a handful of contractors. Most of them are copywriters. Mm-hmm. And we've been in business for over 17 years. I like to say that we help good companies attract more customers and grow faster, doing things like building high-performance websites, creating successful content, doing strategic branding, and increasing the quality of leads that are generated. So over the years, we've built literally hundreds of websites for clients. And so our clients are typically established small businesses that are in the $5 to $30 million range. And so they generally hire us to build their website, drive traffic to it with SEO and paid ads, create their social media content, their videos, email campaigns, and podcasts. And like Jamie said, every single service that we provide relies heavily on writing. So I didn't know this organization existed, but I'm very curious about it. Very cool. Yeah, so that's a little bit about us. I'm also the co-host of a podcast that we just started during the pandemic called Extremely Valid Points, and that is a ton of fun. If you want to check it out, we talk about business and marketing and creativity. So yeah, check that out too if you're interested.
Okay, great. And we are here at AWAI doing a lot more outreach to bring more marketers into the awareness of us. And that is combined with the launch of writerswanted.com, which is our job board that we launched back in October. We had a previous one, but with the new launch, we're doing a lot more outreach. So awesome. That's great that you didn't know about us and now you do. So next up, let's move over to Haley Friedman. Welcome. Haley is a marketing expert. Is Haley here, Ben?
Hi, yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, that's okay. She's a marketing expert. She's CEO of Growth Marketing Pro Agency, and she's founder of Growth Bar, and she's also an artist. She created the Growth Marketing Pro blog as a hobby and built it into a 6-figure passive income business in just 18 months. I'm sure that will perk up the ears of our writers. Today, it supports her while she travels the world. Welcome, Haley.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it's great to be here. It's great to meet everyone. Yep. And thank you for the intro. Yeah, so I started Growth Marketing Pro about 6 years ago with my co-founder. We were both working on growth at a startup. We were the 2-person team that grew the company from 2 million in revenue to 14 million in revenue in the 2 years we were there. And we had this idea to start a blog and start sharing the different marketing tactics that we were using to grow this business. And along the way, like you said, it grew into a 6-figure affiliate business. Today it's one of the largest growth marketing websites on the internet. And as we started getting tens and thousands of visitors to the site each month, people started reaching out and asking us for help. Of course, there were people, trying to learn about marketing. So we turned that need into a larger business today that surpassed 7 figures. We're a small team, lean and mean. My co-founder, Mark, and I, we've led growth at a number of venture-backed startups out here in San Francisco. So we have a lot of hands-on experience. And so we've done every marketing channel under the sun. So our service offering has changed a bit over the years. It began with us kind of going in and building out growth strategies for early stage companies, helping them identify, of the 40 to 60 different marketing channels and tactics that you can use, where is the lowest hanging fruit? What are the 5 things that are actually going to move the needle for you right now that you should hone in on? So we would build out plans for companies. We've worked with hundreds of companies. Then they started asking us, can you execute for us? So we said yes, and we were executing, on every channel under the sun. As you can imagine, we were stretched pretty thin. So we realized the best thing for us to do would really be to hone in on the one channel where everything we touch turns to gold, and that's SEO. So we built our blog without spending $1 on ads. We did it entirely with SEO, and that's really been the case for almost every company where we've gone ahead and led growth for. So it's just been really the magic bullet, and the thing, not bullet because it's a slow, growing thing, but it takes time. But it ends up being the channel that can really hold the whole business if you give it the time and patience that it deserves. So yeah, we do SEO alone for companies, and that's small businesses all the way up to large enterprises, mostly venture-backed startups, but really, our clients are such a large range, which is what I think is really fun about it, because I get to dive in and learn about all these random niches I never thought I'd get to learn about, like this company that refurbishes private jets, and this other company that owns trampoline parks around the country, and this other guy's a spinal surgeon, and B2B SaaS software. It's like really the whole gamut. So right. Yeah, we're a small team, and we do a ton of writing, all SEO focused. So
cool, great.
Yeah,
so now I'm just going to move into kind of a roundtable discussion, and I think I will stop the share, and then we'll pick the share back up of the screen so that we can see see all the people talking at once. So I'm going to ask each of you this question. So you can probably take your mute off now if that works for you. So that way you'll all be able to answer here and there. We can have a good roundtable discussion. But what do you look for when you're looking for a writer? And Jamie, I'll just start with you since you went first.
Sure. I think a few things that we look for. Number one, obviously, is quality, right? We are very selective in not only the clients we work with, but also the writers and other creators that we bring into our agency to do work on their behalf. Many of our clients have had experience with either maybe junior staff internally or working with quote unquote content farms and things like that. And we really pride ourselves on delivering much higher quality content for our clients than just cranking out quantity for the sake of content's sake. So a lot of our clients are in very, as I said, technical and specific industries. Mm-hmm. So while we don't necessarily look for people that have, tangible and relevant experience in any of those industries, because we do understand how niche they are. If they ever do, that's great. That's gravy for us, and certainly right. A bonus. But what we do look for is people that are able to get up to speed very quickly on complex businesses like that. So I describe it as sort of an innate curiosity, almost a journalist's approach to, learning about topics very quickly and being able to understand them and translate them into a message that resonates, very clearly and quickly with the audiences that our clients are trying to reach. So the other thing is, I think, a versatility is the last thing I'd say is, we have clients that are working on everything from top of funnel thought leadership and long form type of content like ebooks and things like that to, further down the funnel, all the way to, very quick and punchy, social media posts and things like that. Our writers are asked to do any and all of those things every day and sometimes different things hour by hour, and client by client. So having a degree of versatility is always something that we look for as well. There are certainly writers that are more adept at one format or medium than another. And we play to our strengths as best as we can. But all in all, we try and find, writers that have versatility to work across platforms and mediums in that way.
Great. And that's one of the things about AWAI and its training, for those of you who are new to that, is that we have training programs in a lot of versatility like that, emails, SEO, case studies, all sorts of different pieces and parts that you would need. And with access to AWAI, in our premier level of access is our Infinity and our Circle of Success. Those members have access to the training immediately, so they can get up to speed on things very quickly. We also have members with many, many different backgrounds. They come to us from a full range, so you're likely to find some of our members that have the technology experience that you're looking for. So Kalani, I'm going to ask you the same question. Is it Kalani or Cloney? Kalani. Yeah. What do you look for when you're looking for a writer?
Well, typically the 4 areas that we focus on are websites, sales funnels, sales funnels, emails, websites, content, and then also bios, though, because we do a lot of public featuring clients in the press and the media. And so writing out their bios too. And so a lot of it for us is, do they have copywriting experience? Because it's one thing to be a writer. It's another thing to be able to write copy and be able to evoke emotions from that copy. And so that's a big one for us, especially say for content for social media. Are they able to write a catchy headline as the first part of the caption? And in terms of the caption itself, can they evoke emotions within that? And that's a big thing for us that we've noticed with our content, because we'll write content for a lot of personal brands. So a lot of times it's not just talking about the business side of things, but it's humanizing the brand and we humanize the brand through emotions. And so we look at those two things as, do they have copywriting experience, and can they evoke emotions through that?
Okay, that's great. Nathan, what do you look for in a writer?
Yeah, similar to Kalani, the ability to write compelling copy. It's got to be compelling. It's got to be exciting. It's got to be engaging and inspire people to take action. You only have a few seconds in a lot of cases to pull somebody into a digital experience. So there needs to be a great hook. And you definitely learn how to do that with more practice you get and as time goes on. But you can start learning now, even if you don't have experience writing professionally, by learning to hone your craft and learn what makes a good story. Because that's another thing that we look for is just the understanding what makes a great story. Humans are literally wired for story. It's as biological in our DNA as it is psychological. And so the more clearly you can articulate anything that you're writing about, the more humans will fall in love with your work. And so storytelling isn't, just for fiction novels. It's everywhere in the digital world, from a 280 character micro blog post on Twitter to a website landing page about, lawnmowers. You have to be able to tell a complete story and finish that storyline, the whole arc. And so that's a great advantage if you can do that. Because otherwise, if you're not telling that story, we just, as humans, naturally, we just tend to disengage. And so, so much about the metrics of people watching eyeballs and measuring page times is all about how engaged a person is. So the more compelling your content is, the more people will stay reading it. And so I would also say tech skills are another thing we look for. Because of all the things that people write about online, whether it's social media or ads or creative copy or ebooks, each area has its own set of tech tools that you need to be able to publish that online. And so if you're a writer who's tech savvy, that can go a long way as well. So those are what we look
for. It's great because the things that you guys are bringing up, and you're not, like I said, all of you marketers are new to AWAI for the first time, are all things that we talk about. So it's really great and really affirming, I think, for our membership to hear from people who are out there doing it and who are hiring writers, to hear the things that we say. So Haley, why don't you tell me what you look for when you're looking for a writer?
Yeah, so at our agency, we really pride ourselves on providing content with the highest quality and most comprehensive content on the internet for a particular keyword. That's really how we win with SEO, right? Google's not someone you can really fool. It actually has to be the best piece of content on the internet for this keyword, the most comprehensive. So what we do in order to make sure that happens is we actually built a tool called Growth Bar that any of you can use even now. And you can enter any keyword in there and it will auto-generate an SEO optimized content outline for you. And that really takes into consideration our approach from an SEO standpoint, as well as some really high-tech technology from OpenAI, GPT-3, their natural language processing technology. So it combines this and creates an SEO optimized outline that will tell you exactly how long the piece needs to be, what your headline should be, what the URL should be, and what kind of headlines should be throughout the post. And you can actually even auto-generate content. So it can actually generate, paragraphs of the content. Of course, it's a robot, so it's not perfect whatsoever, but it can do like half the work for you and then have a human come in there and really build it out and make it smooth and flow all together. But it saves a ton of time. So with that tool, with Growth Bar, we really help our writers set them up for success with here's everything you need to do for this article. Here's exactly how comprehensive, how long it needs to be, basically fill in this outline. And I think part of it is starting to understand what is required for SEO articles, like the types of formatting it needs to be in. A lot of content is read on mobile, so like skipping, it's not the standard paragraph format we might have learned in school. We're gonna no more than 2 or 3 sentences in a paragraph before we skip a line, or using a lot of bullets and bold text and things like that, really because from Google's perspective, what makes a piece of content good is that someone searches something, they land on the content, they spend a lot of time there, and then they never search that query again because that article answered their question. So we need to make sure that this piece of content is engaging enough to keep people on page, and it answers this question from every possible angle so that they never have to go out and search it again.
Right. And by using bullets and all those things, you give them gates into, as they're scanning for the information they need, you find ways to bring it to their attention so they don't have to search within the paragraphs a lot of times. So that's a really good tool and tip for people who are writing SEO. So I'm going to come right back to you, Haley, and say, what are your upcoming needs for writers? I mean, are you hiring right now? What are you looking for? What's the best way for someone to get in touch with you if they're specialized in SEO and they think that it's a good fit? How would they reach out to you?
Yeah, we're definitely hiring. The agency is growing like crazy. So it's been a really exciting time. And yeah, the best way to reach out is my email, probably haley@growthmarketingpro.com. I can put it in the chat. What we're looking for is people that are really, excited and hungry to learn about creating SEO content. Like I said, my co-founder Mark and I are experts in this. So we really do a great job training out our writers, people that have writing that's easy to read and understand. They like to do research, really everything that everyone talked about as far as quality. And they're eager to learn about SEO. And we tend to put our writers, try and keep them on similar clients so they can start to understand like the tone of voice. And you might even bring them on some client calls so they can hear and build a relationship and rapport with a particular company and client and tone of voice. So yeah, definitely looking to hire. So I'll add my email in the Q&A and definitely feel free to reach out.
And I have one more question for you. What would get your attention from a writer? What's your best advice for making a good impression?
Like within the email communications, even that we have together, if it's just really smooth and easy to read and just logical, I don't know.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. I don't know how to, but we definitely would love to see like samples of writing so we can get a feel of different types of writing you've done in the past. That's always super helpful.
Okay. Jamie, I'm going to jump to you because I saw that you put in the Q&A or the chat, one of the two, you put your contact information.
Yeah, just getting ahead of it there. So
yeah. So what kind of upcoming needs do you have? And, you gave the way to connect with you. So sure. People should look for that.
I'll answer that question. I want to circle back to the first question for just a second, because I did find it interesting that you've got 4 folks that work at some kind of agency on the day. And not one of us, when we answered the question about what we look for in a writer, said somebody with agency experience. So I found that to be interesting, but also a truism of today where, we look for people that are just, solid writers. And a lot of people that we work with come from industry. They come from, like I said, journalists or other publications and things like that. There's a lot of places where writers flow in from that don't necessarily have agency experience, which I just found interesting. But as far as magnitude, we are absolutely growing and always looking to hire. Actually, today, I'm in Boston today because our agency is celebrating our 10-year anniversary with colleagues and some clients today. So we're excited about that. And based on both current growth and growth that we have, forecasted in our pipeline, we always have a need to bring on more talent and are always on the hunt for adding folks to our bench. We also, I didn't mention it in the introduction, but probably like most of the other folks on the call here, we use both a mix of, full-time team members as well as what we refer to as extended team. So that extended team might be contractors for a specific project. It might be regular freelancers that we tap. It might be people that are part-time by choice based on their lifestyle or other, professional things that they're trying to balance and things like that. So across, our team, we're always looking to plug people in any variety of role, from full-time all the way down to part-time or just, project-based. In particular, we are interested in bringing on not only individual writers, but we have a specific need that we're looking for right now for somebody to head up our content team. So to serve as the head of content, which is mostly writing, but also some non-writing responsibility there as well. So.
Great. That sounds like a great opportunity for somebody who's looking for a big role. Yep. So Nathan, let's jump over to you. What upcoming needs do you have, and how would someone reach out to you? What's the best way to connect with you?
Sure. I would say the biggest upcoming need we have for hiring writers would be what I call marketing journalists. This is not a job title we've heard before, but it's definitely one that is needed to fill a gap in the industry. And I'm really, it was awesome to hear Jamie talk about journalism so much, because I think it's so on point. Marketing needs journalists, and I'm not talking about, the ones that write, that clickbait that you see on news sites today. We desperately need the tenacity and the curiosity of writers who have the courage to say, I'm going to hunt down the true story here, and I'm going to deliver it objectively and without bias, and I'm going to give it to you before the deadline. That type of old school journalist that maybe worked at, Superman's Daily Planet or something like that.
Right.
So today, the reason I say journalists is because, marketers care about authenticity, and the true language of building trust is authenticity. And so, modern consumers are a lot different than they were maybe 10, 20 years ago. They don't want salesy fluff or slogans or jingles. Right. They want honest values. So many writers, I think, are gifted with journalistic talents, but maybe they're kind of turned off by what the industry has become lately. And so I just want to say to those people in that camp, come over to the marketing side. The tables have literally turned. It's now the marketing world that cares about authenticity and building trust, whereas the news media agency seems to have lost all credibility.
Right. And we talk about authenticity all the time. So, and curiosity, it's so important in a copywriter, and as to, that research, that your quest for finding, your ideas come from research. So curiosity is what drives that. So
absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah. A good marketing job title. If you want to work for like a huge corporation, you could be a qualitative market researcher. Those would really help you find and answer some questions. But small agencies like mine focus on the brand research side, where you're interviewing customers and you're getting to the heart of their story. What are your motives? Why did you buy this? What's the big picture here? What's the scoop? It's an incredibly valuable service to uncover this kind of information for businesses. So I think that's a huge need that we have. And then as far as how to contact us, when we have positions available, and we are always hiring, we have a careers tab on our website, worldlightmedia.com. Okay. And I'll put my email in the chat. You can email me personally if you want an opportunity. Typically what we do and what we have done is we've onboarded writers as an intern, and just give them a few little projects, because in my small agency, we all wear a lot of hats, and so we're kind of looking for that perfect fit. But we have contractors, as I mentioned earlier, and then the goal is to get everybody full time. So I'll put my email in the chat here.
And a good fit is good on both sides. You want to be, as a writer, you want to be working for someone that's a really good fit for you. And as an employer, you want to have people working for you that are a good fit. So, and as just a reminder to all our writers out there, not every employer is a good fit for you. Really take a look at what your skills are, what your background are, what they want, what they need, and recognize that you may not get every job, but every job is not the right one for you. Every client is not the right one for you, but there are thousands and millions of clients in the world, and there are plenty that will be right for you. So I just want to reiterate that really take a look at who you're wanting to work for and really think about that. Kalani, let's move on to you. I see you keep nodding your head over there.
Everyone.
I know, right? And that's great that you have 4 marketers who have never met each other and they agree on the same topics and what's, what everyone is bringing forward. So what upcoming needs do you have, Kalani? And what's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, so the 3 areas that we write the most content for are for websites. So these are personal brand websites. So like consultants, speakers, authors, and then also for small businesses. So website copy, and then also content, like social media content, and then bios. This is a big one. We have a lot of tools and resources that my agency has already developed to be able to assist in writing, especially on the bio side. But because we do feature a lot of clients in the press and the media, we do write bios for their website, for their press and media kits, podcast one sheet, speaker one sheets, website about pages, LinkedIn bios, all the places. So, and then when it comes to content, we have different tools that we've developed for different pillars of content. So we have all the training materials available. So if you have experience with writing website copy for small business or personal brands, bios, and then also content for social media, then would love for you to reach out to me. We don't have any full-time positions right now available, but we do have contract positions and part-time positions. And if I type in the chat, will that syndicate to everyone? Okay, so
and someone from our team will grab it and make sure that we have that for everyone. And I think, a lot of our writers are looking for part-time, freelance contract, that type of gig. I think it's less likely that they're working for full-time, although I encourage them to look at full-time positions. There's no better way to get experience than in a full-time position.
Yeah. And I put Marie's email. So it's mariainfo@brandstrom.co. And so that's one of my agencies. And so if you email her, then just let her know what you're interested in. And again, when you guys are looking at jobs, there's a difference between, say, working remote with small businesses like one of ours, and then working corporate where you have to go into the office. And so I would, encourage you to identify what kind of work environment do you want. Is this something that you want to work on at home, with yoga pants or shorts on the bottom and a nice shirt on top, or do you want to go into the office? And so there are positions available both ways. And so I would just consider what sort of work-life balance you want. And then, because I think most of what all of us have to offer is probably mostly remote. Is that correct, Jamie, Nathan, and Haley?
Yeah, our agency is fully remote. We don't actually have an office any longer. So
yeah. So there might be individuals on here that end up working for all of us in some capacity.
Right, exactly. Nathan, you kind of look like maybe you were an office, or you guys remote as well?
So I was going to say we prefer in-house. We want to work with you and know you. But we have a very flexible working environment. A lot of our team works from home whenever they feel like it. When they come in, usually if there's a meeting or something. But having said that, all of our freelancers are remote. So I just, just disregard everything I just said.
Sure. Pam, do we have any questions stacking up?
Sorry, I had to get back on here. Oh, do we have questions? Yeah, absolutely. And some of them are along themes, and I wasn't sure if you guys were going to address them or not, but I've been saving all of them.
Great.
So let's just jump right in. So Linda's asking, what are you looking for in a winning portfolio? So you guys talked about samples that show how people can write persuasively or write good stories. What do you look for, just like one piece of writing and you can get it right away, or how does that work for you guys when you see somebody's writing?
And I'll let anybody answer who wants to answer. Just jump in.
I love to see a variety of different pieces. So a lot of times writers will say write copy for websites or for sales funnels or blogs or video storylines. And so I would love to see the different areas that they can write in. And then let's just say copy content is more of what I'm focused on, then I'll give some trial tasks. So we always, at least with my agency, we always give trial tasks so we can really see what the individual has to offer. And in terms of a portfolio is great, but like I at least as like an agency owner, I love being able to build up individuals and help them with their career. So you don't have to have a huge portfolio, because there's a lot of professionals out there that they just don't necessarily have all the work experience that they need to have an amazing portfolio. But if you can show like the work ethic, the desire to learn, and then you do have a skill set, it might not be the best skill set yet, then like I would love to take you under my wings and then just train you and teach you and give you the skills that you need to be able to, you know, get to that next point in life wherever your career might take you. And so for me, it's not so much the huge portfolio, it's really having that desire, but then also having some skill sets coming into it.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to add in?
Yeah, I would just reiterate about sort of demonstrating that range and versatility. So, you know, not just being, you know, if possible, not just being focused on one format or one, you know, particular medium or something like that. And then the other thing, you know, as I said, we don't necessarily look for specific industry experience, but what we do look for is the ability to translate very complex topics and ideas into something that resonates and, as I think Nathan said earlier, compels people to take action, whatever that action and desired action is. So, you know, taking a complex idea, distilling it down, making it, you know, what's the core truth here? Why does it matter? And how is that going to, you know, move somebody to take action? So.
Cool.
Excellent. Okay. And, you know, in all the programs that we offer on different types of writing projects, we always include those, everything you guys are talking about. What's the story? What's the unique thing about it? What will compel people to stick around and do business with you? You know, that's what we teach here. So even if you are fairly new and you've taken a program with us and you even have just a couple of samples, if you know that flow of persuasive copy that works, of marketing, I love marketing journalism. That was a cool phrase I haven't heard before. You know, then you will not be ignored. You will be, you know, they'll consider you. So we have a lot of questions about resumes, and I haven't worked with clients yet. And what are you willing to work with a total newbie? I think you've all kind of answered that, but very quickly, resume, does that matter at all? Resume. Anybody? Haley's shaking her head.
Haley's shaking her head no.
As long as you have like do you have a LinkedIn profile I can look at? It doesn't need to be in like a resume format. If you just have a link, I'm happy to look there.
And I'm going to say, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, go out and find Elise Bennon's 21-day challenge, because that will help you get your LinkedIn profile to where you need it to be. And it will also teach you how to reach out to clients on LinkedIn. So I'm just going to leave that right there. If you haven't taken that course, that's a really, really great one for creating your LinkedIn profile.
Yep. Now we have two people asking. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to add, you know, for me personally, and I don't know how common this is, but I do want to see a resume because there's things that I would look for in the resume, like massive gaps of work history that need to be explained, you know, stuff like that. So other things that maybe not be related to experience, but just your reliability as a worker. I think so. I think a resume is kind of mandatory for that reason.
Sure. So you can see each marketer has a different answer for that. Some are going to want them, some are not going to want them. Anything else?
Opportunity too to like show your writing style or tone of voice or something. So.
Absolutely. And you're writing about a topic you know well, yourself and your career. You know.
Yeah. Two people asked about emailing you guys. One of them said, do you actually answer cold emails, or does that feel like spam to you? And the other one asked, is there a recommended subject line that a writer can use to stand out from your giant pile of emails every day?
I think I answered in the chat, but like, at least with my agency, if you type like in the subject line SEO content writer role, I will definitely see that and get back to you. And I want to say that I don't answer cold emails very often, but I actually have hired writers from cold emails. So that's
wow.
Yeah, it's really more about timing than anything else. You know, if the timing is right and I'm really looking for help and they seem communicative and kind of like casual and easy to work with just through the messaging, like it could happen. So.
All right, cool.
I wouldn't consider anybody emailing us from this to be a cold email. I would think that this audience would probably be able to use the door opener of, hey, sat in on your webinar and wanted to follow up. So that's obviously a more specific connection. I try and reply to all the emails I get. I'm very diligent about that. Subject line or not, I agree with Haley that if you can be specific about why you're reaching out, that's great. But I try to be as courteous as possible and trying to respond to folks. So
maybe if you put AWAI member in the subject line, SEO copywriter or whatever you guys are looking for, might help. Then that's the obvious connection that it doesn't sound like spam, I would think.
And Pam, I think that in the email, I provided my assistant's email because I'm not the best at keeping up with my emails. I try to let my team do all of that. But I think even putting in there what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for full-time, part-time, freelance, remote? What sort of copy, like websites, sales funnels, emails, blogs, bios, content? And so I think that would be very helpful so that it would give, once, say, someone, Nathan or Haley or Jamie or say even someone on my team receives it, then they can give you kind of a proper or more direct or guided response back. So I think that would be very helpful to just indicate a little bit more about you. Even if you have a resume, attach your resume, and then just put some more information on what you're looking for. I think that'd be helpful.
And I think to follow on that, Kalani, a realistic sense of what availability you have. My team, we think in terms of hours, clients and hours, and how we scope things. I mean, most of our clients are scoped on an hours and materials kinds of basis, and less on projects. So we do project work from time to time, but mostly it's hours. So if hey, I've got 10 hours in a week to dedicate to Magnitude, to be available to them, then that's helpful to us in terms of, resource planning and managing pipeline and things like that. Not to say that we won't, again, work on specific projects where if you come in and say, hey, I'm available for your next website overhaul, and we'll figure out how much is involved in that. But that's generally how we work. So
cool.
Great. Okay.
One more thing, Pam, that might be helpful for any individuals that don't have a lot of experience yet, I would offer to do something for free. I mean, I had to do this years and years and years back when I was getting started. And it was just like, hey, I don't have that portfolio for myself yet, if you will. But let's just say some of you that maybe you're like, I'm not sure if I'll get hired, but hey, I'm willing to, write 5 blog posts or write some content or write some email sequences, whatever it is, like that could go a long way with individuals. I've even hired different videographers over the years that say when I've spoken at events, they're like, hey, I would love to put together like a 1-minute like sizzle reel for you. And then because they produced that, they didn't charge me at all. I went on and I've hired them for different events and different things, and even for some of my clients and things like that. So if you're looking at building your portfolio, don't be afraid to do a little bit of free work in the beginning, just to be able to grow your experience.
Great. I love that because, when I was applying for a job as an LL Bean copywriter way back in the day, they did ask me to do a free sample. Like, how would you write a catalog copy piece for this? And do I follow their voice and their tone, and how you have to sell something in like only 45 words? And so I was happy to do the free sample because I did get hired, but I had to show that I could work within their structure and format. So it can be a really great way to get your foot in the door. I agree. Anybody else? No? Oh, I know, Nathan, it's kind of related to that. You mentioned interns, and a couple of people were asking, do you pay the interns, or how does that all work with you?
We do pay them because we're located in the state of California, which forces us to.
Okay.
Actually, there are, sometimes we have intern programs that are for college credit, because there's a few organizations in town who have partnered with us, and we love working with young people just getting into this field to give them a helping hand up. Like Kalani said, we love to help develop people, and this world is hard enough. We all need all the help we can get, but an intern program is a great way to start and get that experience. But yeah, we do pay. Not very much, but we pay.
Yeah. Okay. A few people are asking about pay, by the way, and I don't know if that's something you want to bring up right now, what kind of fee schedules you work with, or is that more of an individual thing when you see someone that sparks your interest as a contractor or an employee for you? Is that where you discuss the fees?
And maybe if you don't want to talk about specific fees here, if that's individualized, could you give us an idea of how it works? Is it per project, per page,
Right.
per, just kind of general?
I'll jump in and I won't get into specific rates and things like that, but like I said, most of our structure is an hours basis. So if we're working with somebody that's part-time or contractor freelance, then we would have a negotiated hourly rate with them. And we're pretty flexible. We look at experience and quality as a component of that. Most folks that we work with, I think it's fairly common where if they're working with a client directly, they might have one rate, but if they're working through an agency like ours, they would have a different rate. So I think that's a fairly common, practice in the industry. For our full-time roles, those are obviously salaried positions. And so, the salary would be, relevant to both the role and the experience and all of that kind of thing. We do, as I said, scope some individual projects to say, okay, Pam, you're going to work on this website revision for us. This is the amount of work that, we think collectively is scoped here and basically bidding on that. And, if we're in agreement on that, then that's the freight we would pay. So.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, for us, we're looking for salaried full-time writers to join our team.
Aha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for us, it's remote positions, and it really depends on the skill level coming in and how much training myself or my team has to do. But a lot of times, especially when it comes to writers, we're doing it more on a project basis. Like, hey, we need X number of bios. We need, we have a client and we're doing 5 posts per week on 3 different platforms on social media. Well, we need, here's an X flat rate, and we just need you to make sure that it's executed. Our designers, videographers, video editors, they can take care of the creative, but we need the actual copy for all the content, or whether it's an email sequence. So for us, it's more of a project basis, but I like to just pay a flat rate rather than an hourly basis. And again, it really comes down to what experience do you have coming into this and how much do we have to train you to. That will really determine the rates.
Great.
And just to specify a little further, sorry, we're looking for salaried full-time writers, but it is remote, and kind of choose your own hours as long as the work is getting done consistently type of thing.
Okay.
Sounds like a dream.
Oh, really? What
Right?
the writer's life. So a question is, well, we have still many, but one of them is about working with people who have day jobs. Is that something that is going to be a deal breaker for you guys, or can you take someone who could work weekends or evenings and would just love to get in and work only a few hours for you? Is that something you're amenable to, or is it not so much?
I would say absolutely. I think the beauty of remote work, and especially writing, is that there's so much flexibility. I think some people, especially creatives, they don't get creative until 11 o'clock at night, and if that's when your flow comes, then just lean into that and embrace that. And so I would say that's a great opportunity if you can work outside of your day job hours.
Cool.
I would say the same thing, just to echo what Nathan's saying. I think what I'd come back to is a different point that Nathan made before about, adherence to deadlines, right? So, we use a lot of project management and collaboration tools to, make sure that everybody's clear on what the work is and when it's due and all that kind of thing. So, we certainly have that flexibility. The one thing I would add, though, is, we have tons of folks on our team that, as I said, are either juggling, personal or other professional things that they're trying to balance. We try to not work with people who magnitude is like their afterthought, right? So even if it's not your day job per se, we like to try and have somewhat relative equal standing to whatever is, so that it's not like, oh, well, I'll only do that stuff when I have the time. I mean, if you've made a commitment to deliver, then we expect that it can be within your own time, again, within deadline, but we don't like it when we're working with people that, oh, well, I didn't get to that because my other thing took priority and you guys weren't as important, right? That's never a good look.
Right. And that's never cool anyway. When you agree to a deadline, you agree to a deadline. And that is so important. Stuff comes up. Yes, it does. But first impressions are everything. You've got to meet your deadlines. And once you have a history of meeting your deadlines, if something comes up, then it becomes something that maybe the client can work with. But, if you think you're not going to make a deadline, the thing that you should do is reach out as soon as possible, as soon as you feel like you're not going to meet it. See if there's wiggle room. And if there's not, then you have to find a way to make that deadline. That's just the nature of the beast.
You have a day job or not. That's it for any client.
Exactly.
Super quick, Haley, what is the podcast you have about marketing?
So we don't have a podcast, but we have a website called growthmarketingpro.com. Okay. And then our Growth Bar content generation tool I spoke about, it's called Growth Bar, and you can go to growthbarseo.com.
All righty.
Great.
Here's one for all y'all. Would the marketers consider working with international copywriters? So we have several members who are overseas, outside the US, and are always concerned about that.
I hire internationally. I've been hiring out of like 10 countries for like 6 years. So I do. The only thing that I would say is making sure sometimes the work hours overlap. It doesn't have to be every day, right? What I've noticed, especially in the beginning, that's even here in the US, is that in the beginning, it's easier to provide feedback on, say, Zoom than it is on like using like a screen share, like Loom recording, which I will do once our working style has been created and we understand how each other works. But in the beginning, it really helps, whether it's like on lunch hours or like I don't work nights. Like I really don't work after about 5:30 at night for the most part. So as long as it overlaps with my working hours or someone on my team's working hours, then yes. But yeah, we've hired copywriters from all around the world too.
Okay. And obviously today with electronics and software and all that, you can pay people outside the US. There's no big issue with that. Do you guys typically pay through PayPal or FreshBooks, or how do you usually work?
PayPal's the one. The only country that we can't pay with PayPal is India. Actually, possibly Bangladesh. I don't recall. But India, we can't pay via PayPal. We've used Stripe or other avenues for that. But PayPal's simple and easy, and then we pay the fees on our end too. So then the writer or the individual doesn't have to pay the fees for. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we use FreshBooks. I can't speak to the specific logistics and complexities of how that all gets done. The other thing that we do have commonly, I know your question was from people that are already overseas, but we also have, people that we've worked with that because of the flexibility of our organization, they might be Americans that have moved abroad, either permanently or temporarily. It comes to mind a woman that decided to go work from the beach in Costa Rica, and that was where she wanted to be. And so, we're open to that kind of thing as well. So
great. Yeah, we have members who are writing from their boats, their RVs, expats. It's all over, which is cool. Let's see, what other questions? I'm looking here now. I think we've covered
any tips? I have a list of tips coming up, but any tips that you would give writers from any kind of thing?
Go
ahead.
I was just going to say, talent comes into play a lot when we make a hiring decision. And so I would definitely find out what you're passionate about. There was a question in the chat about beauty and spa, and I would just say if you are into writing about that, then gravitate towards a role where you can write about that. But interpersonal skills are just as important. Having a great attitude will go a very long way. If you show up on time, dress professionally, I think that's the bare minimum, and it says a lot about you, and it can make a great first impression. But for me, if you exude confidence when I sit down to interview you, whether in person or via Zoom, if you're humble and kind and friendly and relaxed, That's what really gets my attention. That stands out to me. And I think the best advice or the tip I could give is just to be yourself, just to be authentic, which you already mentioned. You do teach that and emphasize that. I think that's so important because, the world needs, your unique voice, the real you. It doesn't want an imposter version of you. And so, if you're in an interview, don't just answer a question because you think it's the right way to answer it. Just answer it honestly, because you might just say what you think might be the right answer just to get that job, but it might not be the right step. It might be the wrong job for you. And you mentioned this a little bit earlier, Helen, where the right fit is so important because the workplace can be a toxic, traumatic, very draining place, which you'll need years of therapy to recover from, or it can be this inspiring, rewarding place that brings meaning to your life, and sometimes even you can make the world a better place. So seek out. I think a lot of companies are putting a focus on creating a great culture, and I love that. I think that if you can seek out those companies that are aligned with your values, then in that place you can find mentors there that will help you develop your craft and turn you into a world-class writer at the top of your field. So I just think there's if you are yourself and you're authentic and you get the job based on that, it'll just be a much more rewarding experience for you and the company that hires you.
That's great.
I think
anybody else?
Yeah, just coming off as being responsible and reliable, I think was the number one character trait I think that's helped me hire writers in the past. And these were, for example, I've hired someone who was a teacher for many years and had never just done writing only before, but just, someone who is communicating, getting back really quickly, communicative, just coming off as overall responsible and reliable, someone that will be there, will meet deadlines, will be there to work with you in a way that I can count on is probably one tip I would share.
Cool.
Okay. Belinda is asking, Kaloni and Nathan discussed training people. Is this free training after hired on, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have our entire onboarding presentations, onboarding packets, onboarding checklists. So we have all that already included in our onboarding. And then what we do is we have our ops manual, we have SOPs, and then also additional training materials that we will train on depending on the position. So for example, if it's with writers, let's just say we're training some writers to write some bios for our clients. Well, we have our 13 authority building factors, which I developed, which really helps to pull key pieces of someone's professional and it could be personal life and tie them into a bio. And so, yeah, we do, anytime someone comes on, we train them kind of the way that we do things. But then we'd also love for you to come in with your own expertise and provide value and, give advice or maybe even different tools and resources that you might have that you're like, hey, this can actually be valuable to add to the training syllabus or just to the department or whatever it is.
All right.
Yeah. Similarly, I would say, on top of all that, there's content that we take people through. So online videos you can watch, online courses that will help develop, depending on what your experience level is. If you're totally green, there's a couple courses on, what makes a great blog post and stuff like that, stuff that your organization is probably already teaching people. But yeah, a lot of times you will just want to see what people need help with the most and then just develop them from there.
Right. Thank you. I have a question from Facebook, Pam. Is there any need for writers with film experience who can write video scripts?
Absolutely. Video is one of the most important things for creating content online right now. A picture is worth 1,000 words and video is 30 frames per second. So, you do the math. There's a lot of need for writers in video.
Okay.
Yeah, even in the B2B space, we're doing a lot more video work, either explainers or, other forms of content that rely on scripted copy.
Okay. Cool. Any more questions, Pam?
Oh yeah, and I'm typing madly trying to answer some that I can.
Okay.
Let's see. Dawn is asking, would you consider a candidate with a couple of copywriting clients thus far, but with decades of technical writing experience and samples? So not marketing, but technical. But
I see head nods from Jamie and Nathan.
Okay, cool. All right, they nodded yes. well,
yeah.
Let the record show.
Yeah. I thought Jamie was going to jump in there, but absolutely, especially in the B2B space, you need technical ability. You know, I was saying compelling, but sometimes it needs to be compelling, but technical writers are so important for B2B. So if you're selling manufacturing equipment to small businesses, you know, you're not going to write flowery, you know, novels to them. You're going to have to write some technical information that are really going to answer the questions about what people need to know in order to make the right buying decision.
I think other than that, the point I was making earlier about taking very complex ideas in very technical industries and distilling them down into, what's most important for somebody to know. That's a skill that a technical writer brings in spades. And definitely much more, obviously with our client base of B2B. And there's all sorts of things at different stages of the consideration funnel too, where that might be even more valuable than not as well. So.
Okay, perfect. There you go, Don. Let's see now. Nathan mentioned liking to help younger writers. Age is only a number, but is he open to hiring an older writer who's retired and turning to writing in life's second half?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to see, older writers. I think the pandemic really did a number on a lot of people just questioning, I need to do something different with my life. If that's you, or even if that's not you, pursue whatever you're curious about. And, I'm a big believer that will take you to a good place.
Nice. Okay. I was thinking you meant newer writers, not younger writers anyway. Newer writers. Okay. Let's see. Is there a big need for people who understand sales funnels in your world?
Yes.
Kalani.
Yes. Even if I don't, we work with so many different clients, and I have so many peers and friends that just in the business world, if you will, that are looking for different content writers or SEO writers or sales funnel writers. And so if you email me, even if we don't have a position available, what I think I will have Marie on my team do is, I like to call it a Rolodex, because we have a Rolodex of like virtual assistants, social media managers, and other individuals. And what we might do is put together a Rolodex. And then that way, if there's someone in my world that might be able to use your services without, even if we don't, then we can give them your contact information. So that's what I would say is, if any of you are interested in, especially when it comes to sales funnels, bios, social media content, and website copy, potentially blogs too, then send me an email and we'll just make a list, and then we'll just refer you out as we have people that come into our world that need your help.
Terrific. Okay. I know some of you have to get going, but yes. We do have a few more questions for anybody who can stick around. But also, my advice is a lot of questions about how do you write a pitch to you guys, or how do you put your best foot forward if you're new. I think they've all answered that, but really, they're looking for writers. They need writers. So if you can reach out to them and tell them about your background and your interests and your skills and your availability, they will pay attention to that and let you know if they can use your services. Not everybody here is a fit, like Helen said, but every effort can lead you to yes quicker than not, than being paralyzed by all of these questions.
And there are 4 people here out of all of the agencies in the whole world. So, so find agencies that specialize in the things that you specialize in. Find an alignment. Reach out to them on LinkedIn. Make yourself known. These are 4 agencies that are looking for writers. There's tons more. So don't just stop at these 4 writers. Not that I want to take anything away from these companies here.
No, but
right.
I'm going to put in the chat, we do have a whole hour-long Inside AWAI on working with agencies, how to reach out to agencies, what they're looking for. And, I push the wrong
So
button.
I'm going to go back to my screenshots here,
okay.
Pam, and just finish through this. So,
Go for it.
Yeah, there are plenty more ways to connect with clients. You can tell everyone you know that you're a writer. Everyone. You never know who knows someone that's looking for a writer right now. Network locally. Reach out to agencies. There's so many agencies. Be where your clients are, or find the agencies that have an alignment with your skills and interests. Make the most of LinkedIn. Really get out there, be on it every day, spend a half hour a day on LinkedIn doing nothing but specifically looking for people who you'd like to work with. This is what Pam was talking about, an Inside AWAI on, this isn't what Pam's talking, is it for landing projects with agencies and other firms. It's an hour to an hour and a half long video. It's free. It's right there on the Inside AWAI page. And will someone throw that in the chat or the Q&A, please? Somebody who's there.
I did that.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there's also an Inside AWAI 26 ways to find writing clients. It works through introverts, extroverts, and anyone in between. So it can give you some ideas for reaching clients if you're not going to go on LinkedIn and work through LinkedIn. Use virtual events, go where the clients are going and meet people that way. Check out trade shows and conference exhibitors. Oftentimes, they are looking for writers, and use job boards. As you know, AWAI has a job board, writerswanted.com. Let's look at LinkedIn best practices really quick. Okay. Make your profile about the client and how you can serve their needs. Everyone thinks, oh, my profile should be about me and all the things I've done. No, it should be about your client and the people that you are best suited to serve. Okay. Show what you do and for whom. Okay. Show that you understand their challenges. Show your experience by including what's relevant. Okay. What of your background is relevant. Our marketers today said that, some of them said a resume is not all that important. They really want to see your writing and that you have experience in their industry. So make sure that you focus on that in your LinkedIn. Make your images professional and friendly. That doesn't mean that you can't include your dog in the shot, but definitely think about what your image is on LinkedIn. We also have an Inside AWAI, get great writing clients via LinkedIn. So take a look at those Inside AWAIs and seek out the extra help that you need. Okay. AWAI's resource for copy and content jobs is writerswanted.com. Okay. Writerswanted.com comes free with digitalcopywriter.com, formerly Wealthy Web Writer. It comes with the AWAI method for becoming a skilled and in-demand copywriter. It comes with Professional Writers Alliance. So if you have any one of those, you get access to that included in what you've already purchased. And if you don't have one of those and you want to purchase it, you can go to writerswanted.com/sign-up. And for $49 a year, you can be in our job board. There's at any time, there's over 2,000 copywriting jobs out there. So there's a lot of people looking for copywriters. And thank you. Any additional questions, Pam, that we need to cover here?
Sorry. No, we've been typing madly to clear them all up. I think everybody got their question answered. And
okay.
Thanks, you guys. This was amazing.
This was amazing. Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day. I hope that you find the writers that you need, and our writers who are watching, I hope you find the jobs and secure the placements that you're looking for, and that you get a match to what is suited for your life in all areas, both that. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Pam, thanks for your time and all the questions.
Sure.
I love that. Thanks to the background team and Ben, everybody who runs everything and makes it go smoothly here. And this video will be up on the Inside AWAI page, so you'll be able to go back and you'll find that. Do they put the slides on there, Pam?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so you'll be able to kind of work through that and take a look through all those as well. So Jake has put in there the address, awai.com/inside-AWAI. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next month on the next Inside AWAI.